go.
Hey guys, what's going on? Caesar the Physio here. Last couple of weeks we've been talking about posture. So we talked about how to get into a good position. We talked about some potential faults, and we're going to continue with the same fault we talked about last week. We talked about the hyperextension fault in the lower back. We talked about it coming from the hips, how to address that. This week we're going to be talking about overhead mobility and how that influences it. If you take a look at someone with poor overhead mobility, you're going to see one or two things. You're going to see them either do this, which I would argue is better. They have limited mobility, but they can maintain their core. You may also see this, where the pelvis and the lower back are sort of compensating to try to reach a position where the shoulders can stack. If you notice your overhead mobility is a little bit poor, you're restricted, it's okay. We're going to show you how to deal with it today. And just what I would recommend is avoiding going very heavy overhead, just to avoid or reduce your risk of injury. And try some of these things instead. This is homework 1. It's called the overhead box stretch, and you're either going to use a box, a table, or a chair. You want to place your forearms on the box. The wider your arms are, the easier this is going to be. The more narrow, the more intense. So I want you guys to work towards being a little bit more narrow. You're going to come down onto your knees as if you're going to do a child's pose. Start with your knees stacked below your hip. Once you find a comfortable width for your hands, you're going to start sinking your hips back towards your heels and bringing your chest towards the ground. Working to keep your spine as neutral as possible, including your neck, so I don't want your neck to be hanging down like that. I want your spine neutral. Again, it helps if you think about your chest coming down towards the floor. Going until you feel pressure or stretch around the shoulder. You'll feel it either on the top part of your shoulder or underneath, or both. Okay, so homework 2 is going to be fun, in case you're bored with homework number 1. What you're going to need is your arm, and you're going to need a band, and also a band to tie, or something to tie the band to overhead. You don't want the band to be below your shoulder, you want it to be above your head. The band's set up here. I've looped it through so that I can place my arm through. I'm going to loop it around my elbow. Bend my arm, and I want you guys to place your hand on the outside piece. But the more intense means you want to put the elbow closer to your face. This one, you want to just focus on that. You're going to lunge forward with whichever leg is most comfortable. Let the band pull you. Keep your ribs down, core tight, and then you pull this elbow into your face. So this is variation 1 of the homework. Variation number 2, to add a little bit of external rotation, is rotating towards the same side that you're trying to stretch. So if I rotate this way, the band will rotate my shoulder externally. So to recap, we're going to have 2 things for our overhead mobility. You're going to have 1, the box stretch, with the box here, 30 seconds 4 times for a total of 2 minutes. And then we're going to work on our banded overhead stretch. And we're going to do that for 30 seconds 4 times, or a total of 2 minutes. Next week, what we're going to be talking about is the squat. We're going to talk about what to look for in a good squat, and we're going to start to introduce some of the faults and talk about that in the following weeks.
Thanks, Caesar.
Thank you, man.